Hello. I want to talk today about HOCD or homosexual OCD. This is a really tricky topic. I think it's one that people don't really want to talk about. For example, someone going to a therapist might be a little reluctant to bring up their sexual obsessions for fear of being diagnosed with pedophilia or being told that they might be gay, when in fact they're not. It's just that sexual obsessions sort of come with a heightened sense of shame and guilt and feelings of disgust based on the subject matter. So it's, but we gotta talk about it because, it's hard for a lot of people and it's a very painful experience, so it's important. First of all, HOCD, it's kind of a bad name because it also affects people that are gay and they feel they might be straight. Interestingly enough, people that have HOCD tend to not be homophobic. Like my catchphrase growing up was like, oh, it's so cool if they're gay, I'm fine with it, that's awesome, totally accepting, but I am not gay. I don't want to be gay. I was really afraid of being gay. And actually that's something I want to talk about too, is that it's not so much a fear of being gay, it's more like a fear of not being in a relationship with a person you really love and that you really are attracted to. It starts when somebody sees something and then they interpret the seeing as looking, and then they think, oh, why was I looking? And they look for meaning in it and try to figure out if it turned them on, if they were aroused, if they were attracted to it in any way. And then when you do that, you can actually sort of stimulate a sensation within the body. It's just a biological response, but this whole over analysis of a meaningless situation can snowball and obviously backfire. Same thing goes with sexual orientation. So it's, I think the question is, do you like gay sex? If that's something you want to do and you enjoy it, and then that's great. Then yeah, maybe you're gay. But the thing is, because that's the thing, if you were gay, you would actually really like those thoughts. It can get really confusing because the line can kind of get a little blurry at times. But here's how I think of it. An intrusive thought that causes anxiety is an obsession. A repressed thought that does not cause anxiety directly, that is not an obsession. Okay? So like, if you were gay and maybe you didn't want to be gay because of your family's potential response or the way the religion viewed it, stuff like that, then that could cause some sort of like feelings of anxiety, that sort of thing. But it's not so much about the actual concept that the person is gay. Whereas someone with OCD might worry about, they wouldn't worry so much about those factors, they'd worry more about like the fact that they don't really want to do it, and they wouldn't really do it, but what if they really, you know what I'm saying? So I know it gets confusing, but it's a case of really looking at your thoughts and separating them a little bit, which is not a fun experience, I know, but it could be helpful if this is something you're confused about. Like for me, I started having crushes on girls when I was 12, and I also had crushes on boys, so I couldn't really figure out if I was bisexual or straight or gay or what was going on, and I spent a lot of time thinking about it and overanalyzing it and trying to, find out what was going on. And because of that, spending so much time thinking about it, that felt like an obsession to me. So I just decided to push out everything in my mind that I could, and I suppressed every sort of thought like that. So when I got older, I was still getting crushes on girls, and then it occurred to me that the crushes I got on girls were actually not causing me anxiety. So it came down to me just finally being like, okay, well, which of my thoughts do cause me anxiety, which ones don't? And then it became very clear. So I would think of a sexual obsession I had, and it'd be like, wow, that's horrible. I never want to do that. That's awful. It's so not me. I would never do that. That's not who I am. And then I would think, okay, well, how do I feel about, men and women? And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. It makes me a little nervous because it's kind of a new thing, and I don't know much about it yet, but, for the most part, like, that really didn't bother me. So then that's when I kind of figured out, like, okay, like, I'm bisexual. That's okay. And that shouldn't scare you to think, oh, no, maybe I'm gay or bi or lesbian or whatever then. It's more of a case of me finally accepting what my sexual identity really was, you know, and that's going to be the same for you. So if you're worried about being gay and you realize it's just a sexual obsession, and then you accept the fact that it does not really coincide with your values and who you really are and your true attractions, then you can finally separate it from that and realize that although it's a difficult obsession to have, that it's just like any other obsession you have. It's just not who you are. It's not real. So just remember that an intrusive thought that causes anxiety is an obsession. A repressed thought that does not cause anxiety directly is not. But give yourself some time and patience, and don't be too hard on yourself or overanalyze this too much. I know, right? But if you have any questions, please email me or message me or whatever. And I'm going to post a link down below. It's an article by this guy from UCLA on HOCD, and it's excellent. It really helped me a lot when I read it. So I hope that it helps you guys too. And just remember that OCD is not who you are. Take care.